Hi guys, Nicole Kernahan here. Okay, so there's two things that you need to know in order to get to where you want to go. There's many things we've talked about and many things we do, but there's two things we need to know. First, which I talked about last week from Tony Child's interview, is having that clear vision, clear purpose and vision. But the second is what we're going to focus on today is understanding why we are where we currently are, good and not so good, understanding our current results. And that really boils down to one word, one concept. And I'm going to give you a couple of key tips on how to change it. But one concept is known as your paradigm. Your paradigm. It's your habitual way of being, your habitual way of thinking. It's your self-image. It's the things you fear. It's the things you don't fear. It's what gets you excited. It's what knocks you down or brings you down emotionally. And it's all of these habitual things. It's all boils into your subconscious mind. Okay, your subconscious mind controls about 95%. I shouldn't say me too. our subconscious mind controls about 95 or more percent of our actions and our results. And our subconscious mind is where our paradigm is, our habits. Most of our life is habit, how we wake up in the morning, how we brush our teeth, how we talk to people, when we procrastinate or don't procrastinate, what are we disciplined in doing? What are we not? And yeah, it's all these aspects. A couple of things to note is that most of our paradigm has been passed down, good or bad, from generation to generation to generation. The foods we like, the way we think, do we think that there's more than enough time or there's never enough time? Now that's also, there's going to be a big impact in our society that shapes our paradigm, right? Our society, where we work, there's a corporate culture, corporate paradigm, there's a way of thinking, a way of being that we meld into. So we're affected by a lot of things, but a lot of it has started from when we were really young. Really young. So it's really important to realize that we didn't create it. We have to take control of changing it, but we didn't create most of it. So don't be too hard on ourselves on how we are and why we're getting the results and where we're at now. But we have to say it stops now, it stops today, and I'm going to change now and celebrate all the good, like all the amazing things that we're doing and taking action and creating. Celebrate all of that. But this is a constant state of growth. We are in a constant state of either moving forward or moving backwards. We're never still. So we're always looking to improve. Even the top in the world, actually not even, the top in the world primarily are the ones who are always growing and always learning and developing and improving. Okay, so one of the concepts, the ways, or the main way to change, the only way to change, is through knowledge, through learning, through constant repetition of a new way of thinking, a new way of being. I shouldn't say the only way, because there is one other way, but unfortunately we don't really have control over it. The other way is through an emotional impact. It usually happens to us, it's usually unexpected, and it's usually negative, but it can dramatically change how we see the world, how we see ourselves and our actions. So for most of the world and almost every other circumstance, the only way we can do it is through knowledge, through learning, through constant repetition of a new way of being. And that's what we're talking about when Tony, in our interview, and he said, there's the 4 things that differentiate the top 1%. And one of them is that they are in a constant place of personal growth and personal development, personal awareness, personally improving and changing. Okay, so the 2 things that Tony mentioned, so I'm going to mention these 2 today because these are really, really important. The first is gratitude. The first way, and one of the fastest ways, we call it the switch, like the light switch, one of the fastest ways to change our paradigm, our habitual way of thinking, is through practicing daily gratitude. Now, we do a whole program on gratitude in 3 levels and getting really deep if you want to get really into that and really grasp the intensity and the magnitude of how much that can affect you. But just the practice, the being aware and the concept of practicing daily gratitude. Daily gratitude is part of the science. Actually, the book from Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. He has a whole chapter on gratitude. There is a law of gratitude. And if we want to get the results that we seek, it is absolutely necessary we abide by this law. So it's really, really critically important to be aware of all the good that we have in our lives. So practicing daily gratitude was the first thing. And the second one was meditation. Now this is interesting because meditation is becoming much more widely accepted. I would say, you know, there used to be a bigger conflict between like religion or Christianity or theology, and then like monks. I can't describe it, but there was definitely some interesting imbalances in the concept of meditation. But really, the reason that the power of meditation is to stop thought, is to stop your thoughts. So if we're in a constant space of thinking worst case scenario, or thinking not enough, or thinking I'm not able, if we have a paradigm, any parts of our paradigm that are around negativity or fear or lack, or I'm not good enough, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, any lack mentality, gratitude is the first switch. So one of the incredible ways to consciously do that, consciously practice it through gratitude to make that shift. But the second way is to stop the thought. Instead of trying to force a different thought at certain times of day, if we're not ready, or we're in the process of changing, is to just stop the thoughts. Stop the negative thoughts. Stop. And I don't want to be, I want to be careful of how I word this here, because a lot of us are positive people. You would say that you're a grateful person and you may be highly successful in many areas. But if we're ever thinking, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough health, I'm not good enough, and that was obviously not good enough is a big one. But any of those lack thoughts, those are thoughts that are holding us back and stopping us from moving forward and really achieving greatness. So we have to stop the negative thoughts, or the limiting thoughts, I should say, the limiting thoughts, or the lack thoughts. And there's different ways of doing meditation. There's many ways. There's a lot of guided meditations, which are a lot easier to start with. Guided meditations, there's short 10, 15-minute meditations. You can, Oprah and Deepak have a audio you can get. So there's lots of different ways. If you have questions, if you want some what I use or anything, feel free. I can help. I'm happy to share some of the examples of what I use. But it's really incredibly powerful how meditation. And you'd be shocked if you found out the people who do meditation. It's not like public is talked about that much, but most of the top percent of successful population are using some form of meditation. Okay, so that's it. Those are the things. You need to know where you're going, purpose and vision. You need to understand why you are where you are, which all is around your paradigm. And two of the things, I just gave you two today, two of the tactics is through practicing gratitude and through practicing meditation. And there's lots of other things that we'll share in other lessons, but that's it for today. Hope this adds value and inspires you to take some different actions. Talk to you soon.